welcome to Random Gaming Talk. It's Entertainment Talks podcast for video games. I'm your host, Matthew. Joining me today, my co-host is Robert. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing today?
Doing alright, doing good. What you been playing in the last week or so?
I've been bouncing around a lot of things. I got more time in with Medieval Dynasty, like I talked about a couple weeks ago. I'm still of the same opinion. It's got a ton of potential. It's super early beta, so don't expect too much out of it. Because it is October, I re-downloaded 7 Days to Die because they just did a new alpha. Which I'm sorry, by the time you get to Alpha 19, just call the damn game done.
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
do updates and all. I don't care. I'm always more for updates, but I bought the game when it was in Alpha 7. And it was very alpha even at 7. So,
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
um,
I remember doing. Did I do a Let's Play of that like 3 years ago or something, or like a Twitch stream? I think I did.
don't know.
Like a first impressions video. It's probably on the website if I did do it. Yeah, I remember it wasn't in a great state even at that point. So yeah, it's been an interesting kind of road for that game. So
hmm
anyway, what else you played?
I did get, like I said a couple weeks ago, I did get back into Fallout 76. I got to level 50, which was kind of like a weird goal that I had at one point. I did play some of the Wastelanders. It's not bad. I mean, it's very banal and generic because they kind of had to rush that out super early. Outside of that, trying to think. I mean, I've just been bouncing around games. I played a little Minecraft Dungeons because I was curious what that looked like. That's part of
Mhm.
Game Pass. I played Streets of Rage 4 for a little bit. That was part of Game Pass. Just really, I'm just kind of trying everything since I don't really have anything big, Cyberpunk, to really occupy me right now. I'm just bouncing around a few things.
Well,
Although I have heard that you can play Gears Tactics now if you do the update, so I might check that out.
okay. What about Star Wars Squadrons? Have you not got that?
Not really, no. I mean, it's one of those things that I'm kind of waiting to see
Okay.
how it plays out because from what I've heard, it's like super short story, and the multiplayer is like the big focus of the game. So I just want to let that flesh out and then see where it goes from there. So
Cool. Well, it's about time for me to talk about Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time. Just brilliant. I think one of this game's best qualities, because this game's got a lot of good stuff going for it. One of the best qualities I personally like about this game is it clearly pays respect to the original trilogy. It takes a lot of ideas from the original trilogy, but it doesn't feel like a sort of living off the Crash Bandicoot name. It very much implements its own new ideas, which very, very much fit into the core mold of what Crash Bandicoot needs to be, and sort of like fits into the sort of style of that. There's a couple of particular moments and some of the music from the original trilogy which has been remixed into the game that fits in really, really well. I can just sort of tell as I'm playing it that Toys for Bob, the developers for the game, just have a lot of respect for the franchise, and they know they know Crash clearly very well, and they sort of took the ideas of the original trilogy, but the very much simple, go through this corridor style level, either from left to right or mainly forwards. Destroying your boxes, TNT crates, nitro crates, they're all in there as they kind of originally are, but implementing like these new style of boxes, ones that can like go on fire, putting, I think it's four new masks kind of into the game, but they fit into very specific levels, things like slowing down time, phasing objects kind of in and out of existence sort of thing. Then you've got what's the other one? One where you can like permanently spin as Crash, which isn't overpowered. It's put into very sort of delicate levels as well, because you can almost use it to kind of glide. To me, what they've kind of done there is they've taken the tornado spin from Crash Bandicoot 3, made it into a mask that only fits in certain situations, and kind of put that in there in their own way, and appreciate what they've done there. And One of the other qualities of the game as well, the cutscenes are just a delight to watch. They clearly know, not just gameplay wise, but like the soul of the character of Crash, which I know I've talked about quite a few times. But there's really something very specific about his attitude that you need to get right in terms of making him fun and goofy, but not like stupid. He makes mistakes and and kind of falls into traps and whatever, but yeah, just very much that kind of goofiness of him as well, and that's been really really great. So overall, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. The one, it's not even really an issue or problem that I have. It's more just sort of a block point of the game. This game is really, really difficult at certain points. Now, I don't think it's as difficult as Crash Bandicoot 1. That's a particular, like, different type of difficult, if you know what I mean. Where with Crash Bandicoot 1, it was very much, you get one single jump, you get one spin, you can't run or slide or anything. So this is sort of like taking what 2 and 3 did and pushing the difficulty level up, but still to the point of where, like, okay, if I fully concentrate and like look at the boxes in front of me and try to think about, okay, I can jump on this one, then maybe slide under that and jump there and then spin that box or whatever. If you are really thinking about what you're doing, kind of a little bit before you do it, you'll get on with it fairly well, or at least I have, I guess. But there are some particular parts of the game to where, like, okay, this is just crazy kind of difficult. But the other thing as well, I guess, is because with the original 3 games, I sort of knew some of the levels. With Crash 4 being like completely all brand new stuff, you don't know, especially if you're going on a level that's left to right or right to left, you don't know what's going to come up, or what boxes are going to be where, or like what enemies are going to be facing what way. So it's kind of the case where, like, okay, your first time through the game where you have no idea what's going to come up, it's a case of sort of like, if you die and then you think, oh yeah, okay, that box is there, that enemy's there, I need to like jump on that or spin that or do whatever, and you can kind of plan as you go through. I have slowly gotten better at the game as I've gone through. There was a few particular ice kind of levels and stuff that it's funny sometimes with the ice levels, because sometimes you can kind of use the ice to your advantage a little bit, and other times it will completely get in your way. And what I mean by that is sometimes where you need to propel Crash forward a little bit more for like an extra jump or to reach something, you can kind of like use the speed of sliding along the ice and then sort of slide and jump with that and kind of go through the level that way and stuff. But yeah, overall I'm having a fantastic time with it. It is one of them games though that I can play it for about 2 hours or so, but it doesn't feel like a game to me that I could like marathon for a whole day, just because it would get to that frustrating kind of point to where I do feel like at certain points I need a bit of a break from it, and like, go and shoot some people on Call of Duty, or go and watch a TV show, or just take a little bit of a break for like a couple of hours, or do some promotion stuff for entertainment talk or whatever the case, and then just go back to it like a couple of hours later, kind of go in a sort of refreshed mood, I guess, and go back in. So, any thoughts on anything I said, I guess?
No, I mean, like I've always said, it's not a game that's in my wheelhouse, but I'm always a fan of people really enjoying something that they have that nostalgia memory for.
Hmm.
That's always a real risk when you go back to a game like that, is that they do it wrong, but apparently they're doing it right, which is always a good thing. Outside of that, I mean, like I've always said, more of what you love is never a bad thing.
Hmm. Yeah, one of the things that's kind of putting the game into like a good kind of space for me is just that sort of feeling of care from the developers. Like, okay, you made this game, you care about this property very clearly, like Activision does as well, and I don't feel like this game is trying to, well, there is no microtransactions, period. There's no microtransactions or loot boxes or battle passes or anything like that. So I don't feel like I've got my cash grabbed from me, or that like this game is just generic and buggy and terrible or whatever. I can't actually recall any bugs or glitches that I've had yet. I'm trying to think. No, I can't think of it. I haven't got like stuck in a box or something weird like that. I haven't really seen anybody post any sort of glitches or bugs online either, which is, the state that you should launch your game in, where it's got
Absolutely.
yeah, to a playable, acceptable sort of state. Like I understand, some games come out and there's 2 or 3 little things wrong here. There's you might clip into this wall a little bit, that sort of thing. That's okay. As long as your game's not just a broken mess at launch, I suppose. So yeah, overall I'm really, really quite happy with it. So in terms of how far I've kind of got in it, for those that have kind of played it would know obviously what I'm talking about. You get different sort of dimensional maps, and I've done about 5 of them, I want to say. I'm up to I don't know if it's the end of the game, but I am up to the first Cortex boss fight. That's the exact next level that I'm on. But I don't think it's the end. Usually with Crash Bandicoot game, a Cortex boss fight would be the end of the game. But there's some games. I mean, I haven't played as Cortex yet either. I haven't played as no. I've done one level as Dingo Dial. What's the other one? Yeah, there's even the Dino Dash level from the demo. I haven't actually come across that yet. So I think there's probably still a couple of maps to go. Actually, there's one mask as well that I don't think that I've gotten yet either. I'm pretty sure. I'm just trying to sort of work out where I'm in the game. But yeah, that's the point that I'm at basically. Dingo Dial, which is one of the other levels that I did, was pretty fun. Interesting little sort of change of pace there. The Tawana level was quite good. Tawana does play more in line to how Crash plays than what Dingo Dial does. I did play a couple of levels as Coco. Basically, all the levels that are playable as Crash, you can just switch over to Coco. So I played a couple levels as her. So yeah, overall just really, really enjoying it. And I'll probably talk about it again next week. So there's that. Played a bit more Call of Duty today. That's still going good, still having some fun with friends and that sort of thing. It will just, I don't think it will ever get tiring when that 3 or 5 seconds of time when you shoot an enemy and they're either moaning or swearing or like, oh, he's got me or whatever. I'll never get over how funny that is, and it will always be pretty much a different person every time, so it'll always be like a different experience. But yeah, the feeling of winning in that game is pretty good. So yeah. What was the other thing that I played? I did play a small portion of the Tony Hawk remake. 1 and 2, I got sent that from Boomerang. Pretty good. I did spent a little bit of time in the warehouse level from the first. I think it's from the first Tony Hawk. Went into that for a little bit, just sort of skated about and had some fun. That was good. Did play a little bit of, speaking of Star Wars. Is it Star Wars Squadrons? That's what it's called, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Played a little bit of that in VR. It's quite good, but like, when it got to the point of, okay, you can barrel roll, that didn't, I'm not someone who gets, like, nauseous really easily or sort of dizzy quite easily. I mean, I just played the full playthrough of, Iron Man VR, and I'm flying around and jumping around and all that sort of stuff in that. So I can handle that, but it was when I was flying around and then it said about doing barrel rolls, and I felt like I was going to, I don't know, fall over or something. So I'm going to go back to that at some point. I was just kind of dipping into Tony Hawk and Star Wars Squadrons just to see what they were like and that sort of thing. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been playing at the moment. Let's move into some housekeeping. See you for that in a minute.
Hey there, I'm Aaron Holman, host of Eye to Eye, a weekly podcast talk show all about passion.
I have this passion and this fire within me that burns brighter than the fire around me.
Flow.
With performing, there's always a story to tell, whether it's my own or not.
And creativity.
I go, he's more than cute, he's creative.
All with an LGBT twist. Make sure to check out Eye to Eye, that's EYE, number 2, letter I, and rate and subscribe on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen in today.
I'm Christy.
And I'm Jackie.
And we are Killer Fun. We explore the intersection of crime and entertainment every other week.
For as long as people have been communicating, they have been talking about who did what to whom, and is that socially acceptable?
Because the boundaries of society,
crime,
and entertainment have always gone hand in hand.
The more salacious,
or weird,
the better. From books and movies
to television shows and games,
we look at how life and art imitate and inform one another.
And we can't get together and not laugh. So let's face it, there's going to be laughing.
Killer Fun is available anywhere you listen to podcasts, so join us.
If you'd like to get started with a domain name and a website today, just click on the link in the show notes and that will take you over to Koalu to get started. They also have a live support chat system that you can use, which is in the bottom right hand corner. So get started with a new website and domain name today with Koalu. Hey everybody, if you would like to get the ad-free versions of all of our podcasts and support Entertainment Talk along the way, all you need to do is head over to patreon.com/entertainment talk. Sign up either as a creator or as a Patreon. There's no difference there. That's just the option for either becoming a creator now or just staying as a patron for the moment. And then all you need to do is support us at the $1 level tier. That will get you access to all of the ad-free podcasts that we've done in the past, and get you access to all the ad-free podcasts in that month as well. So it's a great way to support us on Entertainment Talk and to get rid of the ads and get your ad-free podcasts. You can also become a patron at the $3 level tier. That gets you access to ad-free podcasts and allows you to redeem a review of a TV show or a film of entirely your choice. That's one per month for either a TV show or a film review, which is at the $3 level tier. As always, thank you very much for listening. Back to the show. Alright, recently on Entertainment Talk, what have we got for you here? The Walking Dead is back. Let me just scroll down the website a little bit. The Walking Dead is back for the Season 10, Episode 16 season finale, the one that was delayed because it wasn't quite finished because of COVID and that sort of thing. So me and David talked about that. There will be 6 bonus episodes for Season 10. So it is the season finale still. There's just 6 sort of bonus episodes coming at some point. I think they're supposed to be coming out in February. They have actually started production on those at the moment. And then I think they're going to aim to start production on season 11 of Walking Dead some point early next year, for October next year. So we talked about that. We also talked about the brand new start of the spin-off series, which is called The Walking Dead World Beyond. It's basically about these teenage kind of characters and stuff. There's adult characters in there as well, but very much sort of focusing on that. For those of you that want to know, that is available on Amazon Prime in the UK if you want to go and watch that. And of course the main shows on AMC and Fox. All 3 of the shows including Fear are on AMC in the US, and then Fear is on the AMC thing over here, or the season pass thing that I get, you can get as well. Walking Dead World Beyond's on Amazon, and Walking Dead the main show is on Fox. So just sort of clear that up. But Walking Dead World Beyond season 1 episode 1 we covered today, and The Walking Dead season 10 episode 16 we covered today. So you can have a look out for both of those. Becoming Heisenberg, the Breaking Bad podcast, is still continuing. Season 1 episode 5 this week. We've got 2 more episodes left for the season, and then we're going to try and arrange to do a feedback podcast of sorts, because we scheduled the episodes and we're not getting feedback. Well, we are getting feedback in real time, but we've already recorded the episodes for the season. So we're going to wait for all the episodes, all the podcasts to come out, which will only be a couple more weeks. And then we'll do some sort of feedback episode for that. At the end, United cast, Man United lost 6-1 at home to Tottenham Hotspur. I am reading out the correct score. It's not a typo. It's just unbelievably bad. So I talked about that. Talked about some transfer talk. We did sign Edison Cavani, Alex Telles, Peleski, I think his name was, and Diallo from different clubs, and had previously signed Donny van der Beek. Might sound like some good business in terms of the amount of players I just named, but it's not quite enough, which might sound surprising, but that's just the way that football is. So I talked about that, and Manchester United's very, very disappointing performance against Tottenham, losing 6-1 at home as well. So there's that. There is now a break with club football, which I think I need at the moment. So we'll be playing Newcastle. I think it's on the 17th or the 20th or something like that. Of October, so that will be back soon. Speaking of Crash Bandicoot 4, another Let's Play Sundays episode. This is the last one from the demo levels. This is the 3rd and final one from that, and it's the Cortex level as well, so you can have a look at that if you want to. Diabolical 7 for the boys at Season 2 Episode 7 was last week's episode, the penultimate one for the season. I believe, Robert, me and you are going to do the season finale podcast on Saturday. That's what we arranged. Yeah. So
Yep.
Don't look out for the podcast on Fridays when it usually gets posted. We're going to do that at some point on Saturday. So look out for the season finale podcast on Saturday. That'll be for season 2, episode 8 of The Boys as well. So there's that. And a couple of other things. Don't skip review for Stargirl season 1 that we did last week. So you can check that out. Stargirl is available on the CW, DC Universe, and HBO Max in the US, and it's available on Amazon Prime in the UK as well. And lastly, last week on Gaming Talk, we talked about Call of Duty Modern Warfare Season 6, the Xbox Series X and S and the PS5 pre-orders, and Amazon's new game streaming service called Amazon Luna is in the works, I guess we could call that. So that's everything we've been doing on entertainmenttalk.org and on podcast platforms. Let's move into some news. Alright, would you like to go first this week?
No, you can go ahead and go first.
Cool, alright. So the first thing we got here is there has been announced to be a Resident Evil movie reboot in the works. This isn't connected to the Netflix TV show that's also in the works, but that's listed here as well in the article, so I'm just going to read out what I've got in front of me. The new film will be led by Skins star Kaya Scodelario, who was in that film called Crawl that came out last year as well, the crocodile horror sort of film that came out. She's been in some other stuff as well, but most notably Skins on E4 in the UK. She's going to be playing Claire Redfield, Hannah John Kamen as Jill Valentine, and Robbie Amell, which some of you know from Arrow in The Flash, the Arrowverse and stuff. He's going to be playing Chris Redfield. Resident Evil will also star Tom Hopper as Albert Wesker, Neil McDonough, the other guy from Arrow as well. He played the villain in season 4. He's going to be playing as William Birkin, and you've also got Ava Jogia as Leon S. Kennedy. The only one that I don't really know in there is Avan Jogia as Leon S. Kennedy. I couldn't manage to find a photo of him particularly. But any thoughts on this particular cast? Got Robbie Amell in there?
I don't hate it. I mean, I'm not really that invested in the Resident Evil franchise, either the games or the movies. I think I played the original Resident Evil on Dreamcast back in the day. I don't remember if I've ever played any of the other ones, and I don't think I've seen any of the movies from start to finish. I've seen like parts of this and parts of that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of Robbie Amell. I mean, I'm glad he's getting work.
Was he in that?
Outside of that,
was he in that Upload TV show?
Yeah, he was in that Upload show on Amazon.
Yeah. The recent
that show
one,
needed a better edit of the script. It wasn't bad. It just needed a script edit. So
did that get renewed? I can't remember.
I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't seen anything yet.
All right. Yeah, I think he's going to do all right as Chris. The big standout to me is Kaya Scodelario as Claire Redfield. She's probably the most unknown one in here, I feel like. She also did do the Maze Runner films, which I never got around to finishing watching. I had the second and the third one to watch. I think she's going to do really, really well in this role. And you know when you know a sort of actor or actress that's sort of not lower level, but that not many people sort of know them. They've been in a couple of big things here or there, but they're not really in the spotlight. I'd like Kaya to get enough work to the point where she is like a really, really kind of big star. Because I think she's good enough and I want to see her in more stuff. And two, I think because obviously she deserves it because, again, she's really good in the different roles that she does. I think this will be good for her as well to get involved with that. That should be pretty good. I think Hannah John Carmen, is that the actress that played Ghost in Ant-Man and the Wasp? Because her picture was listed.
Yeah, she played Ghost.
Yeah, that actress. She was in that show that Bex really likes that I can't remember the name of. It was on Sci-Fi. What was that called?
Killjoys.
Killjoys, yeah. She was the lead in that, so she's picking up a couple of roles as well. I quite like her. She's pretty good. Was she in something else that I saw recently? Oh yeah,
let me
she
pull
she
up.
was in that Stranger on Netflix, which I didn't finish either. But yeah, she was. I think she was the stranger in the TV show called Stranger, um, on Netflix, which I don't think that got renewed either. But yeah, that's her as well. Neil from Arrow. I think you know who I'm talking about, don't you? He played Damien Dark
Hmm.
in Arrow. He's going to be
Neil McDonough.
yeah, he's going to be William Birkin. He's quite a good actor. He's been in quite a few different things. He obviously had he was in some parts of the most recent season of Legends of Tomorrow, and he was in Arrow and some other things as well. So he could be quite good. So yeah, that's the initial kind of cast. Rohannes Roberts will write and direct Resident Evil, which promises to be faithful to the Capcom survival video games. Roberts says the story is set in 1998 on one night in Raccoon City, and there's a quote here listed. With this movie, I really wanted to go back to the original first two games and recreate the terrifying, visceral experience I had when I first played them, whilst at the same time telling a grounded human story about a small, dying American town that feels both relatable and relevant to today's audiences, Roberts told Deadline. The previous 6 Resident Evil films were written and directed by Paul W.S. Anderson and grossed $1.2 billion at the worldwide box office, so just a bit of information on that. Yeah, I like what he's kind of saying here about wanting to go back to kind of some of the more grounded kind of original games, and less of sort of what Resident Evil like 5 and 6 did, I guess, and more sort of the a bit more of the grounded horror of what some of the 1, 2 and 3 sort of did as well, which is quite good to me. It's good that they've played the games as well, and they have that sort of earlier life experience, I think is good. So yeah, we'll see how this works out. It's probably going to be a while before we see anything because they've only just casted the thing. So we'll see how it goes down. We also do have, of course, a TV series based on the game is also in the works at Netflix, which will feature 8 one-hour-long episodes written by Andrew Dabb and led by Broen Hughes as the executive producer. So we've got that to look forward to in again whenever that sort of happens. So there's that. Got some the next thing that we've got is some Game Award nominations for The Last of Us Part 2. So they did do the Golden Joystick Awards and they have some nominations that came out. Last of Us 2 was nominated for PlayStation Game of the Year, Best Storytelling, Best Audio, Best Visual Design and Best Studio, of course for Naughty Dog itself. There was a bunch of other games nominated. I did see Ghost of Tsushima was nominated for a few different things. I think Sucker Punch was nominated for Best Studio as well, and then of course you got probably the usual stuff in like multiplayer categories and that sort of thing. Yeah, so I think that's pretty good as well. Any thoughts on Last of Us being nominated for some stuff?
It's not really a surprise. I mean, the game came out like gangbusters.
Yeah.
Everybody was playing it to a point, and so yeah, it's not really a shock on that end. Everybody knew that it was going to get Game of the Year contention. So
yeah, we're going to talk a little bit later about some small like Game of the Year award predictions, so we'll talk about that as well. The next thing we got is the PS5 launch games that have been listed. This comes from IGN, so just in case you weren't necessarily clear about what is and isn't launching on the PlayStation 5, these are the launch games that are going to be available when it comes out. So the first party ones that we got is Astro's Playroom. So these are first party ones, sorry. Astro's Playroom, Demon Souls 3 Remaster or Remake, whatever they're labelling that as. Destruction All-Stars, Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered, Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, and then Sackboy, a big adventure. Third party ones that we've got is Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War November 13th, Man-Eater, which is that shark game that people really liked as well. NBA 2K21, The Pathless, Devil May Cry Special Edition, Destiny 2 Beyond Light, which is probably the next Destiny expansion, Observer System Redux, Godfall, Fortnite, obviously, and Watch Dogs Legion. What do you think of their launch lineup here?
Uh, I find it a little disingenuous to call it a launch lineup because it's not like those games aren't going to be available on the PS4.
Mm.
I
Some
mean,
are, yeah.
obviously the Miles Morales Ultimate Edition is exclusive to the PS5, but that's a clusterfuck for another story. But
Mm.
yeah, I mean, it's cool that they're saying launch lineup, and it's cool that they're gonna have games that they can confirm will play on the PS5. But outside of that, it's not like any of them are exclusive to the PS5. It's not like any of them aren't going to be on the PS4
Mm.
or on well, with the exception of Spider-Man, or not on any other console. So
Yeah. There's a comment from someone on Facebook that I want to bring into this equation because I thought this was quite a good comment to make, and I wanted to just sort of bring it in here. This comes from I'm not going to read his full name out because I don't have permission to do that, but this comes from a guy called Kevin in the Podcast Unlocked Facebook group. Not sure if you saw this. It did have 100 comments on it, so I'm sure some people saw it on there. Seems like every day PlayStation announces some sort of head-scratching news. Today, it's the complicated way to change the SSD, but it just doesn't matter. PlayStation has and will continue to dominate the news cycle. Why? Games. Until Xbox starts releasing must-play games, this will continue to be true. I know we talked about this a little bit last week because we were kind of talking about, probably some Game Pass stuff, and I said about I think PlayStation will just continue to succeed kind of regardless of like all this backwards compatibility stuff or how well the console sort of works. It will, I think, continue to at least, I don't know about beat Xbox, but definitely continue to succeed as long as they've still got the games there. I think Kevin's completely correct here, and I completely agree with him. At the end of the day, I think even if Xbox has got this really great ecosystem set up of, backwards compatibility, Game Pass, and then, some, well, not really decent games with gold, but aside from that, really good stuff going on with Game Pass and backwards compatibility, and the ecosystem's really good, and Xbox Live itself is a lot better than PSN, just loading times wise is a lot better. The Xbox Series X looks like a good console, like performance wise. And I know this is kind of a subjective thing because, yeah, if you do prefer, Halo, Gears of War, Grounded, State of Decay, or whatever, over, Uncharted, Last of Us, God of War, Spider-Man, if you prefer those games, then you're going to go with Xbox. But in terms of like the blockbuster games that have been successful, I just think PlayStation just continues to beat Xbox, and I do think that Kevin here is right about what he's saying. Basically, I agree with him. What do you think?
yeah, I agree with him to a point. Now, with all the studios that Microsoft owns, they could very easily, reverse that trend if they wanted to. I mean, imagine no more Bethesda games coming out on PlayStation. Imagine no more, id games, anything else. If they want to go down that route, they obviously see more value in backwards compatibility and with, having systems that, having games that can play on multiple systems. And you got to kind of be really careful with that because if you remember, during the PS3 era, there was a lot of studios that Sony bought exclusively to have a game exclusive on them, and those studios died because they couldn't make enough sales being exclusive to the console. They couldn't make enough sales with the games themselves. Now with Microsoft, that's a little different because it can be exclusive to Microsoft, but it can be on PC and on Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a little bit more wiggle room for that. Really, it's just going to kind of depend on Microsoft and Phil Spencer and how aggressive they want to be with these are on our platforms only.
Yeah, I suppose the other question to ask is, yes, Xbox has got, I think it's 23 studios now. If let's say we go forward a few years, let's say 2022 or 2023, and Xbox Studios releases 6 games and PlayStation comes out with 3. Let's say just an overall, not critical consensus, but like user base consensus and critical consensus. If those 3 games for Sony, let's just say for a random example, it's Spider-Man 2, God of War, whatever the second one's going to be called, not Ragnarok, whatever the next one maybe after that would be. And then let's say like Horizon Forbidden West or something. Let's say those games come out and they're just really, really well received. They sell really, really well. And then Xbox comes out with 6 other games. Let's say 2 of them are Bethesda games. Let's say it's the new Elder Scrolls and Starfield, and then the other 4 are, I don't know, Gears of War 6, Halo Infinite or something, and then 2 other games. I think it could maybe get to a point there where it would end up being that Microsoft goes for quantity over quality, potentially, and Sony's looking at like, okay, we've got fewer exclusives releasing per year, but they're really, really good, and they like win awards and sell really well and that sort of stuff. So I think you could potentially go down that route as well. But again, we won't know how this will all work out until a couple more years. You know, when these Bethesda games start to come out again, and when Sony starts to come out with new exclusives again in like a couple of years. When like we're in the full swing of the sort of next generation, and Sony games are sort of coming out again, and then these 23 or whatever studios are firing off different games. And when we're in the full swing of that, how that kind of plays out. So we won't know how that's going to play out for at least maybe a couple of years, but I think that could potentially be another route that things go down. So what do you think?
Yeah, I went ahead and did a quick little internet search. These are all the studios that Microsoft owns that weren't already like exclusively on the platform. So you got Arcane Studios, which has Dishonored, Deathloop, and Prey. Bethesda, obviously, with the Fallout and Skyrim series. Compulsion Games, which does Contrast and We Happy Few. id Software, obviously, with Doom, Wolfenstein, Quake, and Rage. In Exile, they do The Wasteland and Bard's Tales. Mojang, obviously, Minecraft. Ninja Theory, which does Devil May Cry and Hellblade. Obsidian, which is doing Outer Worlds, Fallout New Vegas, and Grounded. Tango Games, which did The Evil Within, The Initiative, which is, hasn't come out with anything yet, but I'm sure they will. World's Edge, which is developed Age of Empires, and then ZeniMax, which does Fallout 76, which is an online game, and Elder Scrolls, which is an online game. And so you can kind of see that a lot of those could be like blockbusters. There's a lot of potential. Now, whether they do that or not, don't know. And whether or not Sony just like mine and doesn't put anything on PlayStation, we won't know until the time comes. Phil Spencer in an interview did say that they were going to do that as a case-by-case basis. So it might be they're exclusive forever. It might be they're exclusive for the first 6 months or a year, like they did with the one Tomb Raider game. It's one of those things that you just never know.
Yeah, so we'll see. But I do think Kevin's right about that. But again, none of us really know the answer to that until some point later. So last piece of news I've got is a slightly older one, but let me scroll through. There it is. Found it. Alright, so Oddworld New and Tasty, which is the remaster of the first Abe game, has got a release date for Switch. Now, it's been out on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. I think it's on PC. I'm not completely sure. I don't really pay attention to PC because you often find whenever I'm about to talk about a release date, I just always say I don't know about PC, but just check on Steam or Epic Games. Oddworld New and Tasty, the remaster of the first game, is going to be available for Nintendo Switch on October 27th for Oddworld New and Tasty. So look out for that. The remaster of the first game, they're currently doing the remaster sort of, or what they're more in line with what they originally wanted to do with Soulstorm. Of course, this is also from the Oddworld team as well. So yeah, look out for that as well. And if of course you do have a PS4 or an Xbox One, you can play that game already on there. I don't know if it's on Game Pass. I don't think it is, but you can check the PlayStation Store and the Xbox Store. So that's everything that I've got this week. What did you want to talk about today?
Well, we got a couple of stories from Cyberpunk. Obviously, it was announced that it officially went gold, which is a good thing. It means they're going to be coming out soon. And they also announced that they were going to be doing a crunch for getting the game out. And this somebody, Jason Schreier, spurred out on Twitter about this, which
Jason Schreier.
yeah, there's a few things in context. You can't wait for a job. It's not like 60, 70, 80 hours a week crunch for that. So it's literally just one extra day a week for 6 weeks. I've worked two separate jobs in two completely different industries where I've had to work 60-hour weeks for 6 straight months. That's a crunch. What they're doing is just a final bug squash. And second, and this is why I love CD Projekt Red, the head of the studio, Adam Bardowski, took full responsibility for it. He said, "This was completely on me. I take full." Where is it? This is one of the hardest decisions I've had to make, but everyone is well compensated for their extra hours they put in. And like in recent years, 10% of the annual profit for our company generates in 2020 will be split directly among the team. And they're on track to make $500 million in profit, so 10% of that's $50 million split between the team. Yeah, they're getting paid for it. I mean, it's not like they're killing themselves for nothing. They are putting a little bit more work in, and they are going to get a fat paycheck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because this game's also going to sell incredibly well as well.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Just a question from me is this isn't the first time that video game crunch or the crunch culture of video games has been pointed out. If you remember, back in 2018, the whole 100 hour work weeks for Red Dead Redemption 2 from Rockstar. I almost said Naughty Dog. From Rockstar, and that was kind of moaned at, if you want to put that into context. Why is it that, now this is just from my perspective, 'cause that's the only one I can talk to, or whatever, the only one I can sort of talk about. I've heard quite often about quite brutal TV filming schedules. Now, obviously not really as much in recent months because TV hasn't been able to get filmed, but I've heard quite often about like Walking Dead schedules and Riverdale schedules and things like Flash and Arrow and all these other different shows about these brutal working hours, and the actors are signing up for these sort of things, and they know that it's going to be happening and everything. I never see that get called out as like, oh, it's really bad, these actors shouldn't be filming for that long. But then when it comes to video games, the moment it's like, oh, there's a little bit of extra crunch, it's like, oh, that company's bad, we should not support the game, we should boycott Red Dead Redemption 2 and Cyberpunk. And I just don't really understand where the difference comes in there. It's two different examples of the same thing, which is people working for a long period of time. Whether it's someone in TV that's filming for a long time, or somebody that's at a desk either coding something or designing something or whatever. There's lots of different jobs in the gaming industry. I just don't know. I just don't understand why it's always gaming that gets the finger pointed at it when this happens with TV as well. And I never see anyone sort of say like, oh, Walking Dead shouldn't film that much, or oh, Riverdale should like calm down on their filming. Like, oh, they're working slightly too much. And I just I personally don't really understand that. So yeah.
Well, I think with TV and film, part of it might just be the dollar amounts involved, because for established,
right, but I'm talking about
talent,
like working hours.
Yeah, for established talent, they get paid pretty well. Obviously, I'm more concerned with things like that for like the crew, for the people that are camera operators and people that do other things. So they're the ones that really kind of have to suffer under that. But sometimes with like TV and movie schedules, a lot of it's dependent on like lighting, time of year, depending on what they're going for. Are they set? Are they outdoors? Do they have to have like pyrotechnics? And especially with like heavy makeup stuff, that's like 5 hours.
Yeah.
In some cases. Mm-hmm. Like watch one of those videos where they, do a time lapse of people getting into makeup for a character, and that's a lot of work that they have to do.
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit I don't actually know what the right word is to use, but I'm not really liking the way Jason's been reporting on things in the last couple of years. Because I saw the headline that he put out about this, because he works for, is it Bloomberg now? He doesn't work at Kotaku anymore, does he? I think he went over to Bloomberg. And just the way he wrote about these hours at CD Projekt Red was as if like CD Projekt Red had committed a crime. And it was just the way he'd written it is like, oh, you know, this is really, really awful. And then you've got Colin, who Colin Moriarty from Sacred Symbols, who said like, look, this will be on these developers' resumes. That's what you call them over there, don't you? We call them CVs over here. Like your work history and stuff. And like that's a phenomenal thing to have on there, because this is a game that will sell millions and they'll get massive bonuses. That's the positive way to look at this. I just didn't understand the way that Jason was writing about this, as if CD Projekt Red was running some sort of like concentration camp and like they were forcing their workers to be there or something. It's just, I don't know, it's very strange. Just seems like he was a little bit out for blood in a way.
Yeah.
So like I don't have any personal hatred towards Jason. He doesn't even know me or anything, but just the way he's been reporting on certain things, just seems like he's I don't know, a little bit angry. So, yeah. Do you have any thoughts on Jason Schreier? Like his reporting and things like that?
Well, I don't follow him on Twitter. I don't really know him all that well. I only vaguely know of him. But I agree with you in that his reporting, I wouldn't call it the most accurate in terms of context. But outside of that, I try not to care too much about things like that. So,
yeah. The other he always comes across extremely big-headed as well, and I don't really like that when anyone really does that. Like I get it, like okay, if you know your stuff and you're like, okay, this thing, like I know it's happening or whatever, but it just the way he comes across sometimes is not very healthy or very good. So again, I don't hate him, I don't have any personal problems against him, just his style of sort of work I'm not a particular fan of. So there we go. But yeah, you happy with Gone Gold and all that sort of thing?
Yeah, I can't wait. Like I said, I hope that the Series X gets in stock enough to the point to where I can christen it with Cyberpunk.
Good game to christen it with.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, look out for that. What's the date for that again? November 10th?
No, November 10th is when the console launches. I'm not
Is it the
anticipating having
17th?
Yeah.
Something like that. I can't remember. But look out for Cyberpunk next month. So there we go.
Yep.
Let's move on from that. What else do you want to talk about today?
Well, some serious weirdness happened online the other day. There was a Vicstar Warzone event tournament, and two streamers that I had not heard of called Crim6 and Nadeshot.
Call of Duty Warzone?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Vicstar was the company or whoever that was putting it on. And anyway, Crim6 and Nadeshot got teamed up with Dr. Disrespect. And so they had him on voice chat for a part of it. And literally that same day, Twitch updated their terms of service to prevent him from being on Twitch.
Wow.
So I don't know. We still don't know really what happened. Doc's kind of hinted at it on his YouTube stream. But here's the new update for Twitch. It says, we've updated our guidance in the community guidelines to clarify our policies around suspension evasion. We understand that there may be instances where suspended users appear on your stream due to circumstances beyond your control, but we expect you to make a good faith effort to remove them from your broadcast, mute them, or otherwise limit their interactions with your stream. So yeah, they are still just like in this weird butthurt zone of Dr. Disrespect.
They may as well have had a little paragraph in there that said, if Dr. Disrespect is in your game, please do not let him play with you. Like this, it seems like that's what they're trying to do. So in a way of saying, okay, he's not streaming on Twitch, but he's joined you in your game and you're streaming on Twitch, and his audio voice chat is on your Twitch stream, but he's not specifically streaming. So they may as well just put a little thing in there of like, okay, if Dr. Disrespect is in there, mute him or try to minimalize him. Just sort of seems like that. So
Yeah.
again, I'm not really in the know of like what's kind of going on with Twitch, but it seems a little bit like that. So and I just want to kind of maintain as well that until we actually know what he did, I'm not gonna judge him in any way, because I mean, what are we even judging him off? We don't actually know. So it's impossible to
when
tell.
he was on his YouTube stream, he kind of hinted that they got rid of him so they could afford to bring back Ninja and Shroud. Obviously, there's no way to prove that. Obviously, he didn't say that directly, because I'm pretty sure he's in the process of suing them. There's been nothing
legal
announced.
stuff, yeah.
But you gotta figure he's at least talking to a lawyer, going over his Twitch contract, because he did sign an exclusive contract with Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
And so we don't know, what that entailed, what was allowed, what was not allowed, things like that. So we don't know anything, and I'm sure he's got a lawyer going over it, and I'm sure at some point we'll have a news article saying that he's filed a lawsuit. And again, wherever that goes, that just depends on the contract. So
yeah, we'll see how it plays out. But the plot thickens and gets more interesting. So,
yep.
There we go. All right, what else you got today?
Well, speaking of the plot thickening and just like, chalk it up to 2020, if you like watching your favorite WWE superstars play games on Twitch, that might not happen for a while. According to Wrestling Incorporated and Pro Wrestling Insider, World Wrestling Entertainment will assume control and take ownership of all superstars' accounts over the next month, with talent receiving a portion of the revenue. So they're not even going to keep what they're making from Twitch. They're just going to keep part of it. This is only for active wrestlers who use their wrestling name. Obviously, retired wrestlers who are going under their name on their birth certificate doesn't really apply to that. But it's kind of weird when you think about it, because this is people in their free time doing this stuff, but yet the corporation that they work for is coming in and saying mine.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really follow any WWE superstars, period, whether it be on Twitch or anywhere, literally. I've not watched any WWE for a long time. I don't know exactly how long, but quite a long time. Yeah, Twitch seems to be in this weird space where they want very much to take ownership control of different things, like we literally just talked about with Dr. Disrespect and what's going on there. So I don't know. We'll see how that plays out as well. But what do you think?
It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me, just because these are people doing this on their own time, on their own channel, obviously. Past that, just kind of weird.
Yeah. So, all right, what else you got today?
Well, if you're a PC VR player, then you're going to be happy with this. Microsoft announced that its Flight Simulator VR beta is going to be starting soon. They don't have an official date on it yet, at least not according to the article that I have, but soon. You got to figure, since this game just came out, they're going to want to get that done sooner rather than later.
Yep.
I don't do VR at all. I just don't like the cumbersomeness of it or anything like that, but I know that people love this game. It's very popular, and it should be something to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen a few different YouTubers that I follow playing Flight Simulator. Hollow is one particular guy who I found through Call of Duty videos and some other stuff. He plays a lot of different variety of games, and Flight Simulator was one of them. And yeah, so VR would be fantastic for something like that. Just to get the visual. I know I've said I don't care about graphics necessarily, but just the visuals of looking over a city and that sort of thing, I think could be really good. Looking at a view is different to like the quality of graphics in a game, but obviously they kind of go hand in hand a bit. I think you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, VR could be great for that. I mean, I'm playing a flight game kind of at the moment in VR, and although I almost kind of fell over a little bit because of the barrel roll that I tried to do, it's a lot more appealing to me now at the moment. If someone says like, hey, do you want to play this particular flight game, putting on a VR headset, I think, is an ideal way to kind of go forward with that. Just in terms of immersion as well, I think is quite good, which is one of the biggest qualities of VR as well, to kind of put yourself in your character's head or foot, I guess you could say, is quite good as well. But what do you think of this?
Yeah, I'm in the process of downloading the game on my PC. It's a big download, and it does a big update when you do it. So,
Where have
but
we had
past
that before?
Yeah, never ever anywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll be checking it out here soon, so I definitely want to try it.
Cool, nice. What else you got to talk about today?
Well, the official 1.1 update for Ghost of Tsushima has been announced and will be out next Friday on October 16th. Sucker Punch shared details about the incoming content in a PlayStation blog post. The Ghost of Tsushima Legend is a co-op mode that features 2-player story missions as well as 4-player survival missions, with a raid game type coming, quote, in the weeks following the launch. Once you've installed the 1.1 update, you'll need to download the Legends unlock from the store. Obviously, you'll need to have an active PlayStation Plus subscription with that. Mm-hmm. So I'm not quite sure what all is involved, but I can't wait to try it out. Hopefully, I mean, I know you returned the game already, so hopefully I can find someone that's on my friends list that has it as well, because I definitely want to check that out.
Mm-hmm. Just as well, a little side note, if you want to know what me and Robert think of the game, we did do a review for Ghost of Tsushima. What was that, a couple of weeks ago? I think we did.
2-3 weeks.
Yeah, just search for Ghost of Tsushima on the website or click on video game reviews, and should be the newest one there actually, because it's the most recent video game review that we've done. Yeah, you know, I enjoyed my time with Ghost of Tsushima. I don't think it's an excellent game. I don't think it's a bad game. I think it's a very good game. You know, I had my problems with it here and there, but overall it was a good experience. It's not a game I particularly intend to return to or platinum or do anything particular with. You know, but like we kind of said before with the multiplayer mode, if it's a game you're really into and you want to kind of play it with your friends and stuff, this will be a good update for that as well. So, but everybody knows where I sit at the moment in terms of multiplayer stuff. That little Call of Duty shooting game. So, which somebody told me this week has got an update this week, and they said that was supposed to be on Tuesday. That hasn't actually happened. So, yeah, it just makes me a little bit nervous when I'm playing Call of Duty and someone says to me, "Oh, Matt, there's an update coming out soon." I think, oh god. But yeah, but hopefully those of you that want to enjoy the update for Ghost of Tsushima, look out for it. You said next Friday, 17th of 16th, sorry, of October. So look out for that. Cool. What else did you want to talk about today?
Well, the last thing I had is that Sony on their PlayStation blog and their YouTube channel released a complete teardown of the PS5. The video is featured by Yasuhiro Otori, who is the Vice President of Mechanical Design Department of Sony Interactive. Basically takes it from, completely done, with the stand and everything, and then just tears every bit of it down. Now, we talked a little bit about this offline. Did you get a chance to actually watch the video?
I didn't get a chance to see it, but I did see some photos of like the side of it and the cooling fan and some other different parts to it. So. Mm-hmm.
Well, as confirmed, the thing is friggin' huge. I mean, this is about the size of the dude's chest. Now, granted, I don't know how big he is, but still, it's a big...
Just to say that sentence gives you an idea of how kind of big it is,
And the thing that fascinated me most about that and the teardown was they didn't acknowledge the big problem with the PS4. They just touted the fixes in the PS5. Specifically, when he's doing the initial teardown, the two white side panels completely come off, and that doesn't, void the warranty, because that's how you add in the extra storage. But they also touted the two dirt traps and how you can just take that side panel off and then vacuum out those dirt traps. Because if you have a PS4 where the fan just starts spinning like mad and makes a god-awful noise, odds are the cooling fans are all clogged up with dust. So they didn't acknowledge, yeah, that's why that's all doing that, is because we didn't design the airflow great and dust is getting trapped. Hey, here's how you clean out the dust traps in our new PS5.
Hmm. Yeah. Interesting way to go about that. So,
Mm-hmm.
but at the end of the day, if they've managed to fix that problem and that's not as much of an issue, that's a pretty good thing. As I've said before with my PlayStation, I think because mine's a little bit newer. I got mine in 2017, I think 2016, so it's not too old. Mine doesn't mine doesn't sound like a helicopter when I play demanding games and that sort of thing on it. So I guess I'm kind of lucky with that. But yeah, hopefully those that have had the problem will be able to resolve it with this. Yeah, I'm still kind of I sort of look at my entertainment center, I guess is what people call it, every couple of days and think like, okay, I think I'm gonna move my PS3 away. I'm still gonna like keep it because there's still games I'm gonna maybe play on it one day. I think I'm gonna move my Xbox One to where the PS3 is, and then put the PS4 where the Xbox One is, and then put the PS5 where the PS4 was, if that makes sense. So kind of shift everything upwards a little bit, and then put the PS5 where the 4 currently is. So.
And I'm starting to wonder how soon until we start seeing adverts for online retailers like Amazon or IKEA, whatever, where you'll see a piece of like furniture or something like that, and it'll say "Designed for PS5."
Yeah,
I'm waiting for that.
Yeah, it in every single picture that I see it in, it does look pretty big. So, yeah, got that to look forward to, I guess. Anything else you want to talk about with this?
Nope, that's all I had. So.
Cool. Alright, let's get into some feedback and questions and that sort of thing. You can send in your thoughts, feelings, questions, comments, or maybe concerns about video games or anything related to Entertainment Talk. Matthew at entertainmenttalk.org, Twitter eTalkUK, there's a contact page and information in your show notes. Beth starts off and she says, "Hey fellas, any thoughts on the possible Game of the Year contenders? It's usually 5, ? She says, it's usually 5, isn't it, I think? Like the actual Game of the Year nominees. So off the top of my head, I hope Star Wars Fallen Order gets nominated, because I don't think that was actually eligible last year, because I think it came out a week before the nominations last year were announced. It was really, really close, and everyone kind of wondered if it was eligible. So the nominees I'd go with. Now this isn't my 5 games of the year. This is just the 5 that I think are going to get nominated. So Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, I think Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us 2, Animal Crossing, and what else could get Cyberpunk, I think, as well. Because it'll be, the Game Awards are in December. Cyberpunk is coming out way before that in November, so that should be eligible. It depends when the nominations get announced as well. But those are 5 games I can see getting nominated. And if Animal Crossing doesn't win that, I'm guessing it will probably win like Family Game, or it will win something, I think, as well. What do you think the 5 contenders could be?
Yeah, that's pretty much going to be my 5. Fallen Order, Animal Crossing, Last of Us 2, Ghost, and Cyberpunk. I'm sure a lot of games came out this year, but those are the 5 that I think could win it.
Yeah.
And I completely forgot that Animal Crossing came out this year.
Yeah, that was all the way back in March. So.
Yeah.
And it sold really. I can't remember the last number I read. I think it was like 10 million.
It's all insane numbers.
Yeah. I think it's 10 or 16 million or something, but it's done really, really well, which is, you know, people enjoy it, so that's good. You'll probably get another one, so look out for that. Because I think arguably the two biggest games that stick out to me this year is Last of Us 2 and Cyberpunk, I think. Like when we went into this year, I think those are the 2 most anticipated. So yeah, I think those will be the 5 nominations. We've kind of talked about this next email a little bit, but I just still want to read it out. Ian says, "Hey Robert, Cyberpunk has gone gold. How do you feel? Are you bothered about the CD Projekt Red crunch story, which we sort of already talked about? But any other feelings on the game?"
No, not really. Like I talked about in the article, it's not like when they announced the crunch, they just said, yeah, if they don't like it, they can go suck off or whatever. They were like, especially the CEO is just like, I didn't want to do this, but we kind of have to. It's not going to be a crazy amount of hours. Everybody's going to get a big fat bonus check at the end of the year. So as crunches go, that one's pretty tame. Like I said before, I personally worked 60-hour weeks for 6 months on 2 different jobs. That was kind of a crunch. And I've worked a lot of crap jobs for a lot of crap pay. So obviously game design is tough. I mean, it's not physically demanding, but it is a skill, and it is a skill that not everybody has. So
it's more of a mentally demanding job.
Oh,
'Cause
absolutely.
You got to think a lot about a lot of different stuff. So there's, I mean, yeah, you got like tough manual labor, which is one thing, and then you've got like very mentally demanding sort of jobs and that sort of stuff, which makes me laugh because not.
And really,
sorry, go on.
I said, and really, anytime you're in any creative process, there's not a 9 to 5. You doing all your podcasts for Entertainment Talk, are you doing a 40-hour week for that, or are you putting in like 60 or 70?
Different for different weeks. Depends.
Yeah.
What I'm even doing. So, I mean, I don't do a 9 to 5. I mean, it's 11:30 at the moment. So.
Yeah. Well, that's because we're 5 hours away. So.
Yeah. Because I always have to podcast a little bit later for when it's with Robert, which I've obviously gotten used to at this point because we've been doing it for 3 or 4 years. So, yeah, but yeah, I sometimes do work past 5 p.m. Sometimes I finish before 5 p.m. I don't think I've ever started before 9 a.m. I can't remember a particular day when that's happened. I think the earliest I've gotten up for Entertainment Talk was when I did that Day of the Witcher podcast, and I started because obviously I had to watch the episodes first before I did any tech stuff anyway, because I had to watch the episode in order to give my thoughts on the thing that I've seen, and I started watching at 9:30 in the morning, which isn't early. I mean, normally Netflix seasons come out at like 8 a.m. typically. But that's pretty much the earliest I remember starting. But yeah, so anyway, that's what we've got for you for this episode of Random Gaming Talk. Still lots of podcasts to come out. Of course, like we said, me and Robert are going to be doing The Boys season finale on Saturday. Look out for the episode Thursday night or Friday morning, whenever it comes out in your territory, wherever you live. Yeah, that's what we got for you for this week. So thank you all very much for listening. You can find everything that we've got on entertainmenttalk.org. Lots of TV, video game, films, and well, not films at the moment necessarily, but TV, video game, and Manchester United podcasts. I'm really glad actually that there's a club football break at the moment because we just got slaughtered 6-1. Just take a quick look. I just want to just do something really quickly. Just take a quick guess as to who's at the top of the Premier League at the moment. Just take a guess.
Boris Johnson. I don't know.
All right, they begin with E.
I honestly don't know any teams. I mean, I legitimately am just a dumb American on that. I know Man U because it's been referenced in movies. Outside of that, I know nothing.
Okay, Everton are top of the league at the moment. So
okay, see,
yeah, and Aston Villa are second because they beat Liverpool 7-2. Anyway, yeah, everything you can find that we've done on entertainmenttalk.org. If you'd like to support the podcast and Entertainment Talk, that would be really, really good to continue to do that. We are on Patreon. You can have a look at the $1 and $3 level tiers for instant, ad-free podcast and review options as well. Amazon affiliate link if you're buying stuff on Amazon. We can get a small cut of what you spend, but it won't cost you extra. iTunes feeds, please rate, review, subscribe to those. Make sure you get subscribed so that you get sent new episodes. Just search for Entertainment Talk and subscribe to the podcast feed that you'd like to subscribe to, whether it be for individual shows or the main one, so you get all the episodes anyway. You can subscribe to that. You can also find Geektown on iTunes, run by David, of course, geektown.co.uk. That's for your up-to-date, reliable TV and film news. Geektown Radios gets released on Tuesdays, and this week's episode is out and available to be listened to. So you can either find that by searching for by searching for Geektown on podcast services, or by going to geektown.co.uk. If you'd like to check out Bex on Twitch, she's doing lots of fun cool, geeky chatter, gaming, all sorts of different stuff over on Twitch. If you search for Trista Bytes, that's Trista Bytes, Trista Bytes for Trista Bytes on Twitch. Go and follow her and get involved with all of that as well. And look out for Let's Play Sundays. I think that's everything. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.